family harmony, and we are dealing with in-laws, how to live in harmony with our in-laws. You're welcome once again. My name is Malcolm Sade. I'm your host for today, and we're going to do this conversation in a few minutes. But before we do that, let's take our word for the day, which would guide us. I'll be back after the word. And that was our word for the day. Today it says, therefore all things whatsoever ye would that men should do to you, do ye even so to them, for this is the law and the prophets. Basically, we know the saying offhand, do unto others what you want others to do unto you. And so today we want to use that scripture as a guide in our discussion, talking about living in harmony with our in-laws. Of course, if you want that you be treated peacefully, with love, with care, you would want to treat others the same way. When it comes to the family, it's most important that we live in harmony, making sure that the bonds are stronger each and every day. Now, to go into the conversation, I have with me Councillor Adofuli. Councillor, you're welcome once again.
Thanks for having me, man.
I mean, it's wonderful to have you one more time on the show. It was great the last time. It's great to have you.
We give thanks to God.
We thank God for the day. Now, we want to talk about our in-laws. And on bonds, we go into details and we try our very best to guide people. Now, let's start with, who are our in-laws? Is it just the mother, father of your spouse, or it goes way beyond that, Councillor?
In-laws are your spouse, parents, and the family. So it doesn't stay just with the mother and father. The family members of your spouse is your in-laws.
Okay,
yes.
So it involves the entirety of your spouse's family.
Yes.
Now let's go into how to live in harmony with them. Hopefully by the end of today's show, we are hoping that everybody out there will know the steps to take, in guiding ourselves if we want to live in harmony. What's one of the first things to do, even before you enter the marriage, if you plan that you live in harmony or peacefully with your spouse's family when you get into the marriage?
The good book asks us to dwell with others with knowledge. So when you have knowledge, you're able to live with people. And knowledge comes with getting understanding, taking information. So the more you go into such relationship to learn about the people that you're going to live with, whether it's going to be a close relationship or distance relationship, learning about them give you a better perspective of who they are, how to live with them, what to do with them, and so on and so forth. Because where you are coming from is different from where they are coming from.
Exactly.
Your background, your upbringing, your belief system are different from that of your spouse and the spouse's family. So people go into such conversations with the mindset that just as we are human beings and I'm in love with you, somebody who is attached to you should see me as a family and love me the same way.
Exactly.
But even when we come to love, it's not that you are in love with somebody, you like everything about the person.
Oh, okay. No. Yeah, that's true.
You don't like everything about the person.
Absolutely
so that people
true.
say, oh, everything about you, I'm in love with. It's a lie.
You are my beginning and my end.
It's a lie. See, so we just focus on the positive. What we are admiring. What we want to appreciate, celebrate. We try to manage the ones that we don't like. So the focus is always on the positive, what we like. And even that, we've taken time, years, months, weeks to get to know the person, to build that bond to where we are. But about the people you're going to meet who are close associated with the person you have come to like. How much do you know about these people? But whatever you know about them will come out with, will develop what we call expectation. How I expect to live with them. How I expect them to behave towards me a certain way. So we're going to this relationship purely to learn about them. Unfortunately, people go into the relationship to...
ignorance.
Yes. Not to learn about them, maybe to even lecture them.
Wow.
Yes, to expect them to know them and behave towards them in a certain way. So the conflict starts from that mindset.
Wow.
So once you're going to marriage, you all know everyone in the marriage, either being your spouse, the family, and stuff like that. So have that open mindset that I'm going to learn about my spouse family, whatever come into that space of the marriage. Whether 1 day or 2 days or 3 days, I'm going to learn about them. And then any knowledge I gather, that will give me a better understanding about who they are and how to relate with them.
So from what you've just said, it means even before going into the marriage, we should take steps to learn more about the people we are going to marry and their family.
Yes.
Now, let's talk about cultural background a bit. Does it play a part in, how we relate with our in-laws?
Very well. We live in a society. Every society have the way they behave, they interact. And all this come back to what we call culture, their language, even with language, how they communicate. Their culture, their place, the group of people that when you enter their space, how they greet is even different from how you greet.
Exactly.
The kind of attire or uniform or dresses they put on is different from that of yours. How they even eat is different from yours.
True.
So everything about these people are different. The same way from your end. There are things you consider as a taboo. To other places, it's not taboo.
It's not.
There are things you consider that it's no-go area to somebody. It's a go area.
It's very fine, yeah.
So your place is different from other people's places. You are different in every aspect. So the culture play a huge stuff before we even come to what we call personality. So within the culture aspect, as we start with the culture, ask yourself, the person I'm getting to marry, I'm actually going to get married to, how much do I know about the person upbringing, the person's culture, how they do things. Sometimes we behave as if we know ourselves because we are all from the same region. We speak the same language.
That's true.
Yes, we come from the same area. So I believe you treat me better, you know me better, but that is not true.
It doesn't work that way.
But when we get to various families, they have their belief system, which form their culture.
True.
So get down to that end. How do you do that? Pay a visit.
Okay.
Pay a visit.
Okay.
Speak to your spouse about their culture. You can take any items on the menu. Let's talk about food. What do your people like?
Wow.
What kind of food they love in the breakfast, afternoon, lunch, and stuff like that. Because one day you might meet these people, we might cook their food, not your food.
Yeah.
Because you have to speak to them in their language, not in your language. So we talk about food. Dress code.
Okay.
Yes. What is their even belief about dress code? At which level? Nowadays, when you even wear things, people think, oh, because of what you are wearing, quote unquote, maybe you are not well brought up, but that's not the case. Where I'm coming from is different from where you are coming from. So even a dress aspect, we need to know what we dress and at what time and so forth.
Absolutely.
And it's something that as we're having such a conversation, you are building the foundation for your marriage. And when we are talking about even marriage, how best does these people understand marriage? What is marriage to them? The procedure, how we even go into marriage.
Counselor, what you just said just brought something into my mind. The fact that there are families where when you marry a man or a woman, you've literally married everyone.
Very true.
Everyone has a right to call you my wife, and they expect that you treat them probably the same or even better than you treat your spouse.
Very true.
Wow.
So marriage, what is the understanding about marriage?
True.
We need to get to know. Don't assume because we are all Ghanaian or from a particular tribe, how we see things
are the same.
No. Wrong things are different. So let me get to know how you understand marriage.
I mean, you're bringing a new perspective to the idea of courtship and what we should be talking about, which is very important.
Unfortunately, people don't have these conversations when they are
It's the I love yous and I miss yous and how was your day, and practically that's about it. That's about it. So knowledge or ignorance thereof could be a hindrance when it comes to living in harmony with the family. Now let's talk about misconceptions. When it comes to people and where we come from, the way we do our things, there are so many misconceptions out there. Before I like this, the accounts are like this, the northerners are like this. You are a counselor, and you've had to deal with so many issues. Tell me a little more about how important it is when it comes to misconceptions about people.
So, even with what I do as a premarital counseling, one of the topic and expectation is about myth, this misconception.
Okay.
And we need to have a conversation because what you think it is not what it is.
Right.
So let's have a conversation about.
Right.
So coming into the relationship, if you have any kind of misconception about these people, let's have a conversation about it.
Okay.
Sometimes people say that, oh, there's a little truth in it. Sometimes it's not even a truth. So let's have a conversation about it. Is there any reason why you can't get married to certain people?
Right.
Now that you're in love with me, so you're not thinking about that. Their names,
Okay.
the place they stay and stuff like that. Do you have any problem in your family? What are they be saying about these particular persons or the tribe and stuff like that? Maybe you have the opportunity to get a better understanding. In less time, you'll be an ambassador to your family to educate them on some of these things.
Right.
That's how we change our narrative. So
Okay.
we have a conversation about this kind of stuff. And again, as we are going to that space to live together, there are some misconceptions we need to clear. The fact that I am married into a family, I'm becoming part of the bigger family, we also have our own boundaries.
Right.
And when to visit, when not to visit.
Okay.
But somebody believes that once we are married, anywhere, anytime,
Everything is fine.
it's fine. I can come here and stuff like that. And to you, that doesn't work for you. So as we are learning about their misconceptions and so on and so forth, you should also be able to talk about your own.
Okay. Okay.
Talk about your own. So it is a two-way affair. It's not only one-way affair. How do you want things to go? Is it the same way they do it there? Let's start clearing these things. And as much as we are comfortable talking about it, it's not about we are looking at a tribe which is good and which is bad, a family. No, we're just learning.
Okay.
It helps us take off the veil from whatever we are getting into. So once we clear the misconception, we see things very clear. We see the journey ahead of us. Then we can put in the energy where we have to put in and work towards that direction.
Wow.
So I ask them to clear everything, even as much as their own kind of feelings. Because some people think about these in-love feelings that I'm so much passionate about you will last for life. Sometimes believe that once I'm married to you, there's no other person can make you happy.
Okay.
Apart from me. I can't go to my family. When you're going to your family, it means that we are separating the marriage. And at what point in time do we get to the family? We need to clear all these kind of conversations. So
Wow.
we open up the conversation. Let's talk as much as it's not one day thing. As we go on,
takes
things
a
comes
while.
in and then we talk about it and we build a relationship as we
Now,
go.
so even from the little we've spoken about, we've already identified about 3 challenges that could, inhibit the peace that we could have with our in-laws. We talked about ignorance. We've talked about cultural backgrounds and differences. We just spoke about misconceptions. Are there any more challenges that may affect the peace when it comes to a spouse and his or her in-laws?
Our personality trait.
Okay.
You see, God in his own wisdom created us differently for the purpose he has assigned to us on earth.
Okay.
So the way you do things is different from the way I do things. The way you
Exactly.
see is different from the way I see it. The way I process it is even different from the way you process it.
True.
So our reactions are going to be very, very
different.
different. But when people go into relationship, they expect their in-law to react the way they will react.
Right.
Behave the way they will behave. See the way they see.
I get
And
that.
sometimes there are some personality. Look, you crash with people with the same kind of personality. Let's talk of something like choleric. Somebody who is a strong kind of personality, who wants to be dominant, control,
In
give
control,
order,
yeah.
be on top of issues. So if you meet somebody who is controlling, issuing order, and expect other people to take the order, submit to it, work with it, and you also have the same kind of personality,
There will
and
be
you
a
meet,
clash.
there's
There
going
will
to
be
be
a
a
clash.
So you order your in-law, you don't order your in-law orders. So who are you to order me? And then we started having trouble at that end.
Wow.
But we have met somebody like phlegmatic, who is a layback, who see things very well, observe them before taking a decision.
Right.
Sometimes they can be very selfish in their own decision taking. So such a person will not tell you even their feeling. They want to get to know your feeling. And sometimes they try to be in the middle, not to hurt anybody, being excessive. So You come to the person, talk to the person about, look, I want you to take this side. The person is not taking that side. You think that, oh, you didn't like me.
Yeah.
And at that moment, you feel different towards the person.
Right.
And sometimes some in-law can come to you. This is what I'm talking to my son about, my daughter about. But this is what they are saying. And maybe talking to you might align with me. Maybe you are going to the murder.
You don't know where
because
to go.
of your personality.
Exactly.
So you think I'm comfortable at this end.
I don't want to take sides.
No. And your in-law just sees you because you're not taking side. You don't like me. You have something against me.
Wow.
And that person can have such kind of personality, just call it different ideas about you, and that can affect the marriage greatly. So our personality, who we are, play a role. So when you're coming to the marriage, I'll play with you, learn about people, the way they react. What are some of these things to look out for? When they're angry, how do they
behave?
When they are unhappy, when they are sad, every situation, every event give you opportunity to learn about the person, how they behave. And mind you, when they are talking about themselves, not you. So they think they are addressing you, so they are talking about you. Their emotion, everything, they are talking about you. Because if you even take you out of the picture or equation, anybody you place in the same way, their own children, they will react the same way. So it's not necessarily about you. So if I'm listening to my in-law, and I'm getting to know this how she behave.
Right.
Or maybe within the conditions like stress, or pressure, and the way they will behave, it's not about me. Oh, I'm going to an A, and the way I behave is not even about you. And I'm giving the person a medication. Look at how the person behave. I'm trying to help you. Look at how you behave because you don't like me. Meanwhile, it's not you.
It is not you. It's the situation and the person's personality.
Very well. And they react like that towards their own children, behave towards their own children. And the children will take it cool. Because they've known their parents
over a long period.
You coming in, you have no idea this is how they react.
Right.
So you are taking it a negative way. And then that emotions you brought up, you started forming resentment towards your in-laws. That might not be unfair on their part. So what I'll plead with us is, let's observe, learn. Then when we are getting this information, we can come to a place of even negotiating. Or we come to a place of asking questions, come to a place of compromising, which one to let go and come forward and stuff like that.
Right.
But when you don't do this, look, you see people who you claim they don't like you, meanwhile they like you.
They like you.
Or they don't love me, they love you. And we should be very mindful when we are going to marry. We have that open mindset to learn. Marriage is a school. That's why we the elders will call it so
to learn.
Go and learn. Go and learn. And learning doesn't stop. As far as you are living, you learn every blessed day in the marriage space. So I'll plead with us who are going to, and one thing that is key is respect.
Respect. Counselor, I'll just stop you over there. We have a caller on the line. Wow, you are an early bird. Thank you so much for calling into the show. Please tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Please, I'm Mangabi from Prestia.
Thank you so much for calling in. Let's hear your question or contribution.
I'm also much grateful for the chance given unto me. My question is, we have a word in the scripture which is, for this reason, a man shall leave his parents and cleave unto the woman, and the two shall become one flesh.
Right.
So my question is it advisable to live with you and your spouse, to live with your in-laws in the same compound house?
Thank you so much for the question. Counselor, we are going to answer that right away before we go on our first break. Is it advisable to live with your in-laws in the same house?
Look at the circumstances. Sometimes people think that there might be interference, so it's better they are not even in the equation. But sometimes, to looking at the circumstance, the financial cost, the burden, all these things comes in play. So we can live in the same environment and set our boundaries. And then we can communicate it as a united front to our parent. This is what we have decided to do.
There are two things you said that are very important: boundaries and communication as a united front. And I think that's something we need to delve more into later on in the show. So, Gabby, I hope we answered your question. It's the circumstance or the situation is what determines what's best. What's best. We have another caller on the line. Hello. Thank you so much for calling into the show. Please tell us your name and where you're calling from.
I'm Yusuf from Boko.
Please speak up a bit for us and lower the volume on your set so we can hear you more clearly.
Okay, I'm Yusuf from Boko, please.
Hello. Please speak up a bit.
Yeah, I'm just calling to greet you. Thank you for your program.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. That is all I wanted to contribute.
Wow, we are having difficulty hearing our caller here in the studio. I do hope that we are able to sort it out. Please call back if you can. But we need to take our first break. When we come back, we are going to talk more about how to live in harmony as a family, not just with your spouse and your children, but with our in-laws as well. And this includes father, mother, aunties, uncles, brothers, sisters, cousins, and everybody. I mean, the family encompasses everyone. Don't go anywhere. This is Bonds. I'm Mauto Siade, and today promises to be even more interesting as we go along. So we'll be right back. Stay with us.
It's the Family Live Show.
You're watching Bonds, the Family Live Show.
Hi everyone, I'm Rolene Abenapokuyagu, the CEO of Pokes Vocational Training Institute. Over here, we nurture talent and we bring the passion for fashion into a reality. We offer courses like garment construction, pattern drafting, fashion illustration, English language, and business management. The durations are 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, and 24 months. At Pokes Vocational Training Institute, we teach theory and we do intensive practicals every week. The practicals cover 80% of your studies here. I entreat you to enroll yourself, your family, friends, loved ones, as we impact knowledge and nurture your talents. We have flexible payment plans that will suit you best. You can also follow us on Facebook at Pokes Vocational Training Institute, Instagram at Pokes Vocational Training Institute, and visit our website at www.pokesgh.com. You can call or WhatsApp us on 0548 110012 and 0200 103343. Thank you.
Because God is righteous and holy through and through, everything about God is holy. Holiness simply means separation from sin and absolute dedication to God. Justice, mercy is a major component of the holiness of God. Your heart must be pure. A person who has no bitterness, jealousy, anger, unforgiveness in your heart. And you cannot claim to be holy if you don't identify with these character features. So, dearly beloved, I urge you to choose holiness.
We're AGT. It's the Family Live Show.
This is Bonds, the Family Live Show.
Welcome back from that break. This is Bonds, the Family Life Show, right here on AGTV, and I'm Mauto, your host. We have Counselor Adufoli in the house, and we've been talking about living in harmony with our in-laws. Now, before the break, we mentioned communication, and then we also talked about setting boundaries, and I really want us to delve more into that. So, Counselor, take us through what kind of boundaries are you talking about when you say we need to set boundaries?
All right, so marriage we know that the extended family play a part in it. We know the public even play a part. That's why we invite them to this ceremony and so on and so forth. But there's other parts of the marriage, that is the intimacy. What is between the spouses. That need to be protected. Even the good book said that, look, the marriage bed has to be kept undefined. So not everybody even brings to your bedroom. And they're not the same way of taking things out of your bedroom outside. So our conversation about our life as a spouse, our intimacy life, and so on and so forth, at what point in time we don't get the family involved? If it's as much as possible, we should protect it. And sometimes we are living with people, and when we are in a distress, we are not happy, we are forced to speak to them. Because they can even see from our faces,
that
our
we are
eyes,
not okay,
that something is wrong with us. So if we don't set boundaries that, look, our relationship, we need to protect it. Our intimacy, we need to protect it. If there's something wrong, something is not going well, let's have a conversation about it. If we have decided we are going somewhere to seek for counseling or help, we will do that. But at no point in time you go out to somewhere and talk to our intimate life with someone, irrespective of how close you are with the person. It's a boundaries the two of you need to set. I'm not doing that with you. I won't do that against you. You also will not do that against you. Let's protect this. So any point in time that you think that I'm closer to my mom or my dad, they live the same compound, I'm not happy, and I'm going to have a conversation with me, I don't go talking about this part of my life with them. Because I'm disrespecting my spouse, our marriage, and so on and so forth. That is a key thing. Again, we are all different. So our marriages are different. So my marriage and my parents' marriage are not the same.
Or even your siblings' marriage.
They're not the same.
They are not the same.
Sometimes people think that some advices that work for them will work for you. Some things that work for them will work for you. But it doesn't work that way. So sometimes people are with you, but they also want to get into your marriage and know what is happening, what we can do to help you, and so on and so forth. So they might look like they are not even asking for permission.
They just intrude
to that space. Especially when we are living at the same place. But it becomes very difficult. So we are the gatekeepers for our marriage. So our goal here is, if we are deciding not at any time that we are accepting help, what kind of help do we accept
from the family?
If there's any help that requires that we have to talk about it, take a decision, what kind of help? Sometimes people want to give you their property. Because they are helping you. And the property that they are helping you, so that they give you a property, and out of that property, they come with a form of control and stuff like that.
Counselor, I'll come back to you. We have a caller on the line. Thank you so much for calling. Tell us your name and where you're calling from, please.
Good evening. My name is Mama Tess from Navrongo.
Mama Tess, thanks for calling. We are listening.
I want to contribute to your program. And, they said there is a saying that in every relation, communication is a key. But in other cases, when we are always together, it's like his side, he doesn't communicate. When there's even a problem and you complain, he doesn't listen. He's always mute. As to whether it is right, it is wrong, he will not mind. So in such cases, what should you do in a relation, let's say in a marriage? What should you do if you have such a husband or a spouse?
Thank you so much, Mama Tess, for your question. Counselor, so what do you do when your spouse is not communicating?
There are things that affect communication. One is recession. This is one time how you come in to even talk about the issue is a problem. Because the thing is distressing you, you are not happy, and you come, you are criticizing, you're on top of our voice.
You are aggressive.
So sometimes some spouses withdraw. It's not that they don't communicate, they just withdraw. They are with you, but they have distance, they freeze. I pretend I'm not hearing anything, but they are hearing it. So I'll plead with you, if you are going to communicate, the recession matters. Please, if you are angry, make sure you are calm, you've calmed down before you go into that conversation. When you go talk about you, how you see things from your perspective. You can start with what we call the I statement. This is how I see it. This is how I feel.
Not the you. That's very accusatory.
Yes, you are attacking the person. And when that continues for some time, they don't want to even listen to you. And again, active listening is key. You want to talk to somebody, but you're not willing to listen to the person. As soon as they mention A, you do not allow them to land, then you jump in. It can be very, very frustrating. So give your spouse or each other enough time to focus on whatever we are discussing. Probably do what we call validation. find out from them what I heard. Do you mean A, B, C, D? Are we on the same page? It's not necessarily agreeing with you, but just be sure that
that's exactly what I heard. You know, there is this thing about what do you want to say? What did you say? What did your spouse hear? What did you mean for him to hear?
Very well.
You know, and that's an interesting one right
there. So we're just doing validation, just to be able to validate.
To be sure.
And last to add to that is sometimes make a request instead of going to complain. Complaint does not change anything in the marriage space.
Wow.
Because you make your partner feel powerless.
Okay.
There's nothing I can do. It has already happened. Or stop talking about it. You are being too much.
Okay.
But you can empower your spouse by making a request. What are the suggestions? What way can we do it? And when you make such a suggestion, they can negotiate. Or they can say, oh, I've heard you. Or think about it. That might give you a positive feedback.
Mama Tess, I hope we were able to answer you a bit. And this helped. The timing, the personality of your partner, all of these count. Like Counselor says, we are all very different. And there are some people who are naturally very laid back. Of course, they're supposed to do something about it for your sake. But you need to help them along by observing when to communicate, how to communicate. And if possible, like Counselor says, start from the I position and make a request rather than complain. Let's go back to our in-laws. And to those of you who are listening and would want to call in, thank you so much for that thoughts. If you call in, keep it brief and keep it related to what we are talking about. And do lower the volume on your set so that we can hear you clearly. Let's go back to what we were discussing,
So we are talking
Counselor.
about the kind of help we are set for our family.
Yeah, we're talking about certain limitations and boundaries.
Please, let's have a conversation about it. And it's important. You don't go and take any decision and then you come and impose it on your partner.
Yeah.
When it comes to decision taking, it's something the two of you
must do together.
Yes, you have to. Because the marriage is about two people, not about one person.
Right.
So anytime that you are taking a decision without your partner involved, they feel like you are not part of the marriage, or they are not part of the marriage.
Right.
And that feeling is not a good feeling. But it affects trust, it affects commitment. So going forward, people are not involved doing things to make the marriage work. So I'll plead with you, the help to accept. Let's know what kind of help. And let's have a conversation about it. Decisions, whatever decision you want to take, you want to have two kids. It's about us.
And not your family.
If God gives us boys and girls, that's fine. If He doesn't give you boys, that's fine. That somebody's knocking at you. Why are you not coming up with a girl? Why are you giving birth to a certain gender? And it makes it very uncomfortable when they are attacking you. How do you feel? How do I even talk to you?
Yeah.
So when we have this kind of conversation and we decide on this is what we want to do, when a family member or those who are closer to them matters are asking questions, as a united front, you can speak to them. And we are doing together, but one person is representing us
the group,
to have that kind of conversation.
Right.
Oh, it is your mother, so I want you to front that conversation. Oh, probably we want to talk together with your mother, but you will do the talking. I'll be there to support you. So I'm holding hands
together.
Yes, when you have the conversation.
Right.
Yes, and there's any question, we can feel free and take the question. We learn, we are judged. And also let the people know that we know you care about us. That's why you ask this question. You care about us. That's why you make requests and so on and so forth.
Right.
If you don't care about it, you might not even talk to us about anything. And we understand that aspect.
Okay.
But don't see like they are intruding. Why are they behaving this way? Sometimes there are parents who are second parenting. They have a strong bond with their children. And they want their children to succeed. So the fact that they are in the same space with you does not mean that they don't want your marriage to succeed.
Work.
And they might have their own issue they are dealing with.
Which will come through when they are trying to communicate with you.
So when you know their issues and they are communicating, sometimes what we can do is let's take our marriage out of that equation. And let's take our marriage out of that equation. And sometimes combining things and sometimes linking it to their own personal life. Mistakes they made in the past and draw conclusions out of fear. We end up destroying our own beautiful marriage that we want to bear.
Wow.
So our plead with us, our marriage, being those who are married, the spouses, you have the responsibility to keep it together. You have a responsibility to make it work. You have a responsibility to protect it. Your parents can be closer to you, but if you don't give them that access, that room,
they will know where to stop, isn't it?
And yes, and one thing I wanted to add to it, there's a power in agreement. And this agreement in marriage is not only between two people, it's between three.
Okay.
God in the middle.
Yeah.
God, the two spouses. An agreement that involves three people is difficult to break.
Right.
In fact, God in three persons. Even we, the human being, body, soul, and spirit. Right. So if you have God at the center of your marriage, it makes it difficult to break. So if God is with us, and we have decided we are working this together, look, we can go very far, irrespective of these boundaries or the issues that come around us.
There is something, Counselor, you brought up that is very important, and we need to take note of it. There are so many times when it comes to the family, the immediate and extended, a lot of them do things supposedly out of love. And they think they're doing it to help us. But sometimes, with their good intentions, I mean, there is a saying that says the road to hell is paved with good intentions. With their good intentions, they may inadvertently do or say something that can hurt you or hurt the family and the marriage thereof. And I mean, this is something all of us need to be careful about. Now, let's talk about those outside the marriage. I mean, the family that we are talking about, the in-laws we are speaking about. What should they be cautious of when it comes to, being a part of their children's lives and marriages without overstepping their bounds?
The in-laws, the parents, and so on and so forth, you see, sometimes they have to allow these people to grow. Marriage they just got married, and they need time to grow. Right. And in the process of growing, people make mistakes. They learn from that. See, the difference between a classroom and life is, in classroom, we are taught the lesson. After that, we write a test. But in life, look, we are given a test. And then you learn the lessons out of the test. So sometimes people have to go through things to learn and build their marriage or relationship.
Okay.
So one of the things is allow them to grow, allow them space to grow. And just as we have our children, we want to help them, in fact, stay on their toes. Sometimes we allow them to just walk, and when they fall, they get up. That's how they grow. Same with the marriage. So first, allow them to grow by giving them the space to grow. The next thing you want to do is respect their relationship.
Right.
Respect their relationship. Look, I'm closer to my child. This is my child, but it's no more that child. It's an adult.
It's an adult.
An adult with another family coming up.
Right.
So don't treat that child as if they are still that small boy or small girl. I am your parent. I know everything. I'm your auntie. Oh, please.
I love it when the parents say, "What do you know about love?"
I also have a heart. I have a feeling.
And I'm always wondering, where is the school of love? Where are we supposed to go and attend that school?
God is love, God of love. So once God has created, God has deposited that. It is a God experience, not even a man experience.
Yeah.
So they know something about love. Your experience, your triumph, and whatever it can be different, but they know something about love. So allow this adult to make some decisions and stuff like that. So give them respect.
Okay.
Respect that if I'm coming to that space, I need to ask for permission.
Right.
And I'm coming to that space. Oh, what can I do to help you? Is there anything I can do to help you? Do you need my help? If you need my help, I'm here.
Let me know.
If you want to talk to me,
I'm
here.
here.
You can talk to me. If there's something that we need to know, please feel free.
Right.
I want to give you some money, but discuss it with your spouse. If you need it, you can come for it. Oh, I wanted us to go in this direction, go for vacation, stuff like that, but this is just a decision that I am suggesting. So please go back and think about it. What works for you? But don't take this decision and impose it on them.
And expect that because they are your children, they would accept it and push it on their spouses as well.
It doesn't work that way. Again, sometimes people see them, they monitor them and say, look, I want to prevent you from making mistakes. Please, 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 allow them to make their mistakes. But what you let them know is I'm here. Anytime that you need my help,
just come.
With my knowledge, my experience, I'll be able to give you my perspective.
Right.
And know that the marriage, once they are married, they are not one anymore. Your spouse.
Two as one.
Yes, two as one. They are a team. They are united front. So anytime I'm treating that it's my son, it's my daughter, I am breaking that union. Whether with my communications, with my attitude, my behavior, I'm breaking that union. So they are one together. So anytime I see them and I'm offering any help, I should be thinking about the two,
and not just one.
As my son. And don't see them, oh, this is my family, that was not my family. No. Once they commit, I want to be with A, look, that's what they want. And I need to respect them as we say. So they are no longer one by two. If there's something you don't like about them, you are a human being. Their actions, their behavior, their temperament, a lot of things can play and that role we don't like about them. What we should do is to invite them as a family.
Right.
Have a conversation with them.
Okay.
And then again, communication, we are talking about how I feel about you, how I see things. I'm not accusing you, this is what I see. If there's something I need to learn about you, I'll also learn about you. If there's something I need to change, I need to change. Because you see, as a family, no family is perfect.
Right.
No family will be perfect. But we can all grow and get better with time. So once you see things that you are not happy with, you are not comfortable with, it doesn't mean that, oh, my son or my daughter is making a mistake and they have choosing wrongly and this is a wrong thing. And I will advise them, listen. I gave you somebody, rather let me fix their problem by pushing somebody into the equation. No,
that's
please.
Absolutely wrong, isn't it?
It doesn't work that way.
Now let's talk a little about where, you have the idea, like I think it was Gabi who called earlier and said, the thought of living and cleaving to your spouse, and some people take it overboard and with the assumption that once I have left, responsibilities and everything behind, my siblings and everybody doesn't matter anymore. It's my wife or my husband and our children alone. Let's talk a little more to that, which could actually be, a foundation on which conflicts can arise, because then the family starts to attack that spouse because of your actions. Let's talk about it.
Very true. It's a lineage. It's generation give birth to another generation.
Right.
Family give birth to another family. So although we are a small family, we belong to a bigger family. Maybe your family, the smaller one, might be a priority. It does not mean that you have distanced yourself or cut yourself out of the bigger family. No. So sometimes what we do is, before the marriage, we have a conversation. Do you have some responsibility towards your other family? Your mother, your parents, your siblings, and so on and so forth. How long is that responsibility? At what point in time? Sometimes it could be in terms of finances, that you finance somebody's education. You give some things for medication and stuff like that before coming to the marriage. And we need to have a conversation and know about some of these things. So when we are doing our own financial planning in our marriage, we factor that into it.
Okay.
So it's not like you did this to my family, I have to do the same thing. No, we know that these things are something we are doing before we come in contact. Again, as we are married to them, they are our family. No matter how we see them, whether we see them good or bad or whatever, there's a good aspect in them. So we pay visits, we meet them, some of them would like to even visit us. We have set boundaries on these things already. But as time goes on, know that irrespective of how bad or bitter or whatever you feel about them, they are your family. So one of the things is you don't want them to feel like you don't like them, you hate them. Sometimes they are calling not because they need help, just to check
how you are doing.
So when you see their call, pick. Answer them, listen to them. Sometimes a missed call back.
That show of love and care is what builds the bond, isn't it?
Call back. Once in a while, we will pay a visit. Let them know. In our schedule, we can come Christmas, Easter. It can be twice, it can be once. But know that we love you, we care about you. Gift, their expression. They send messages across. So it's not like I'm sending gift to my mother, you're sending gift to her. It's a gift that we are sending from this smaller family to the bigger family. This is what we can do. Let's do that as a united family. Let's be intentional about some of these things. Let's be intentional. Because, look, they gave birth to us. They gave us some things. And kindness is something we don't extend to only your immediate family, but to everyone. And from the scripture that we started the whole show with, whatever you give,
it will be given back to you. So, Counselor, because of what you're talking about, let me just read a message we got. It ties into what you're talking about. I say, hello, Mauto. My brother-in-laws feel that he is not solely responsible Okay, so I'm reading that again. I think the language is a bit, you know. My brother-in-law feels that he's not solely responsible for taking the children. He has, so I'm guessing that's taking care of the children he has with my sister, but rather he takes care of his sister's children. What can be done to solve this? Counselor, do you get that?
I get it.
So this is somebody who is looking from the outside and sees the brother-in-law taking care of, you know, the sister's children. And he already, this is Samuel from Medina. Thank you, Samuel, by the way. Samuel sees this as a problem because he says, what can be done to solve this?
Very well. You've been doing very well by taking care of the sister's children. That is fine. You also have children who have to be taken care of. So with the resources that you are using to take care of it, is it enough to take care of
for everything, your own children and your sister's children?
Because you don't want to send a message across that I love my sister's children, but I don't love my own children.
Right.
And that's the feeling you are nursing. Because as time goes on, they grow up, realize that you love somebody, you don't love somebody. So this jealousy, enviness, this is where it's rooting from. So looking at your budget, if you can't, what can we do? What have we can do? Can you expand? If not, as I'm saying, the first family, the immediate family is the priority before the other ones come. Maybe I was doing that when I wasn't married. Right. But now I'm married, I have other responsibilities. So I might not be coming for as I used to come. But let me communicate with my sister that, look, this with my strength now, things are a bit bad for me. But I'm hoping, I'm praying to God that things get better. But I can do once a term instead of monthly.
Okay.
I can do twice a year. Or we could help establish some businesses for you so they can take the proceeds to take care of these things. Let's have that kind of conversation and do that with your spouse.
That's the key.
Yes.
So I was going to say that somehow maybe he's not doing it alone. He's doing it with your sister, who is his wife. And it's an agreement between the two people, in which case it's not a problem at all. You know, because the immediate family has discussed it probably and budgeted for it. And so they're doing it comfortably. You know, but maybe we don't know the situation too clearly. Maybe Samuel is seeing this as a problem because he sees that, you know, the brother-in-law's children are neglected in some way.
But the sister is the one complaining to Samuel.
Maybe.
Then the Samuel, what you should tell the sister that as you talk to the husband that these are some of the lapses we have. How do we address it? But it's not going to the conversation comparing the two. When you start comparing, say you give to all this, you don't mind this, and then you think that, oh, you have a problem with my sister.
Right.
But
then
it's
there's
not
a
a problem with the sister. We're talking about the problem with the lapses left at home that needs to be taken care of.
Wow. This is just beautiful. I mean, if you're still now joining us, we are talking about living in harmony with the family, and we are talking about in-laws, but so far it's been great, isn't it, Counselor? We've talked about setting boundaries and limitations. There's a scripture, 1 Timothy 5 verse 8, that says, anyone who does not provide for their relatives, and especially for their own household, has denied the faith and is worse than an unbeliever. So if you're not providing, especially for your own household, no matter how caring you are out there, how much of a philanthropist you are, you know, in church, out there with the orphanage and whatsoever, the Bible says you are worse than an unbeliever. So your family first, and then in consultation with your spouse, like Counselor just told us, you can, you know, extend a helping hand to other people, including your extended family. Counselor, let's talk about siblings of a spouse. They can be very troublesome sometimes.
Very true.
How do we, you know, tackle the issues of brother and sisters-in-law?
But before you even get married, I think you should be able to sit with these people one by one. Can't do a big meeting with all your siblings there. Then you will not get the resolution you're looking for.
Right.
I think they are all different. They all have their various needs. Because to somebody, you are not just a brother. You are a brother who is my first boyfriend.
Okay.
Yes.
True.
You are not just a brother. You are my father because you provide for me or you protect me. So people have a way they relate to their siblings before you comes in. Now I'm getting married. I've been there doing this thing for you all this while. But now
it can't be you again.
We have graduated. You no longer be receiving this kind of offers or whatever. It doesn't mean I have ignored you, but you see, life have a way of maturing us, launch you to another state. And look, I might leave the picture, but God has not left you.
Right.
Because God is always present in the picture. But I have another responsibility or task now. So being there for you on a phone call for 24/7, we're not going to be doing that. May not be possible because of the kind of responsibility I am actually ushering myself into. Now. So let's have that kind of conversation. Because if that conversation, we don't have it, are you married and the person is calling, and then, oh, I don't want my sister to feel bad, my brother to feel bad, so I entertain the person, one, and it become a ritual, they always look forward to this. Oh, you're taking care of me. I come home at any point in time, I come and spend time there, and this continue, it become a ritual. And then breaking that boundary become very difficult. So have a conversation. Those who have not had a conversation, already it is happening. What do? Let's make time and take these persons out. It's just a date with my sister or a brother. And let them know how much you love them. In fact, you can even take them through when you started life. The bad time, the good time, how you stick together, how you are thankful to God for where we are now. And that where you are now, and how things have changed. And now you have to start a different phase of life. Letting them know that, look, I've not abandoned you. I'm not neglecting you. I still love and care about you. But there are some things I won't be able to do it as I used to do it because we are mature people. We don't behave as we used to behave. Right. But as going on, let's respect each other. We can love each other from a distance, not necessarily being so close together. Yes. And sometimes some sisters or siblings might not like your spouse. So once you are getting married, they've even have their own issues. And they are looking for how to fight. So when you know of this, what I'll ask you to do is address that one-on-one basis. Don't go and put your spouse in that meeting because you won't be happy with the results. Yes. So call them, let them know. I know you might not like the person. That is fine. It's not everybody, I mean myself, I like. But unfortunately, this who God gave to me. There are some things I drive that joy from that relationship, but not get elsewhere. So please, let's respect that space. The same way might happen that one day you are getting married or you have your spouse, I might not like everything about them, but I still have that mutual respect. And don't let that affect our relationship as siblings. Right. Thank you so much, Counselor. All too soon, our time has come to, I know, right? Every time we start to enjoy the conversation, time is up and we have to end the show. But Counselor Adofoli, it's wonderful to have you every single time. You are great and we love you so much. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for coming. I mean, there are some key things that have run through the conversation today. Respect, communication, setting boundaries, acknowledging that God is in the middle of every marriage. And once you know that it's you, your spouse, and God, nothing and no one can break that union. But Counselor says something that is very profound. You need to have a united front when you're dealing with family members, you know, from both sides. And for those of us who love our children, even though they're grown up and married and we want to help them be a part of their lives, remember to respect them as full-grown adults. And Counselor says, allow them to grow on their own, allow them to make their own mistakes. Talking about in-laws, I can't help but say a big thank you to my mother-in-law and all of my in-laws, you know. I can't leave the show today without thanking them. My mother-in-law is amazing. Auntie Kate Aku Aglan, I salute you. You are the best. There is no dull moment with you today. Especially, I want to celebrate you because you are awesome to be around. And you make, you know, being an in-law such a joyful situation for me. I'm very grateful to God for you and the entire family. Thank you so much for watching the show. It's been Bonds, the Family Life Show here on AGTV. My name is Mauto.
Seade. And it's great having all of you who called. Thanks, Spokeswear, for my outfits. And, you know, thank you so much, Lily, as well, for my makeup, for making me look beautiful every single time. To the entire team out there, thank you so much. And we'll see you again next week, right here on Bonds. Thank you.
Hey there, you're watching Bonds, the family life show. Woo! A family that sticks together will always be stronger through the stormy weather. I have you and you have me, and that's what makes us family. It's the family life show. It's the family life show. It's the family life show. It's the family life show.